This is Ryan and Michelle, and welcome to the Celebrate Marriage Cast 5-Minute Friday.
Welcome. We are Michelle and Ryan, and we have a special guest with us today on this episode of 5-Minute Friday. And we just want to say, if you're a younger listener that stumbled across our channel, just check in with your parents. We're covering a more complex topic today, so pause it and go check. But we are excited to welcome back Debbie Wade. Debbie is a licensed professional counselor, licensed marriage and family therapist, and certified sex therapist, and a certified sex addiction therapist. Welcome to our 5-Minute Friday, Debbie. It's so great to have you back.
Well, thank you for letting me be back.
Yeah, absolutely. This is our fourth recording with you now. We had the full episode last week where we talked about sexual health and how God designed a sexual relationship. And then we had the 5-Minute Friday, gave them some action assignment for the weekend. And then this past Tuesday, we talked about pornography. And today we're excited to really kind of give our listeners an action point for it. And that we're going to talk about accountability, which Ryan, this has been really big for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, when we were talking, Debbie, on the previous episode, we had talked about really that first step is talking to someone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you know, Michelle and I have shared that about just the importance of having people, you know, speak into your marriage, speak into certain topics. Maybe just give our listeners maybe some help of maybe, you know, maybe how you find that, what you look for, you know, what do you look for in a good accountability partner?
Yeah,
Great questions. So I am going to recommend just as always, whatever you do in your walk, in your journey with your spouse in life, I would support you being really honest and praying about it. You know, we talk about the power of prayer, and we all say, yes, we believe in it. And then when it comes to something really specific, we sometimes believe, well, God wouldn't really care about that. And I believe that God cares deeply about accountability. So I would support you in beginning a prayer for yourself of just, Lord, who are you putting, or who is in my life that I will risk being accountable with? And they need to be someone that you trust spiritually, and you trust them personally, and you trust how the way you see them interact with their spouse, or if they're single, other people. And I do believe that God will be real personal and precious in helping direct that. I also think a good question to ask a person is, I do need you to be my accountability, but do you have time and space for that?
Sure.
Because there could be some weeks that I may need to call you daily, but there may be some weeks that I only call you once. I think a good accountability partner will be one that's willing to ask you hard questions. Have you struggled today? If so, how did you struggle today? Have you done anything to feed, your struggle? And have you done anything to protect yourself from your struggle? And then a good question to end it with is, have you lied in your answers to any of the other questions?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Are you being honest with me today? And then I'm going to walk you through real quick just a communication protocol that I encourage husbands and wives to do with one another. And this protocol was really developed by Deborah and Mark Lacer. And so I'm taking it from them, but it's just such a good protocol, a way of kind of checking in with one another. And it's taken the word phanos, which is a Greek word that means to shed the light on, kind of bring it into the light. And the F is for feelings, the A is for affirmation, the N is for need, not like a demand. I demand you to meet this need, but like longings, desires. Then the O is ownership. And then the S would be, here's what I support us in doing differently, or here's what I can own I'm doing, to deal with myself spiritually, and or here is my S for here's what I'm doing to stay accountable or sober in this struggle. And I recommend couples to show up. You have a specific time of day you're willing to show up and do that and say, here's what I was feeling earlier when this happened. Here's something that I can affirm you in. Here's something I know I need from you. Here's something I can own about myself. And ownership is usually, I can own that I was dismissive. I can own that I was offensive. I can own that I was hurtful to you earlier. I can own that I used an ugly tone of voice with you. I can own that I was selfish in that moment. Ownership is part of what creates safety with us. And then the support, not I support you in changing your attitude, but something like I support us in doing Phanos 3 times a week or every day. I support us in listening to a podcast at least once a week together, and or here's who I contacted today for my accountability, and I'm going to reach out to him or her once a week. So we can use that S to offer up what we're doing in support of the marriage, growing and enhancing intimacy, or we can use it as an opportunity to share what we're doing in staying faithful, staying sober, staying honoring.
Yeah, that's really good. I think too, I'm just wondering here if someone's maybe nervous about, like, even just really practically, how do they find an accountability partner? I would imagine that would be a big, maybe a little bit of a scary ask for, just to put yourself out there. And I'm even thinking maybe Pastor Chris can help with that, connect people with people that would be good accountability. Yeah. But Debbie, do you have ideas for how to even make that ask?
I think when hopefully we all have at least one person in our life that we can trust. And maybe more, or maybe it is someone on staff at the church.
Sure.
Or it's a leader in the church, a facilitator in the church. Mm-hmm. And I would support the ask being, could you and I schedule a time for coffee sometime, or a morning that you and I could do breakfast? Sure. And I think in doing that, then being able to say to the person, there's an area of my life that I'm really struggling in, and I know I need some accountability. Yeah. God has put you on my heart that you're someone I can trust, but I need to know if that is helping me be accountable. Is that a role you'd want to have, or is it a role you have time for? Yeah. So that you are giving the person some permission in it to say yes or no. But yes, I will tell you, it's risky when we ask for accountability. It's showing up saying, I have a need, and I have a need of someone.
Yeah.
And it is requiring us to risk being somewhat vulnerable.
Yeah. Debbie, thank you so much for being with us on today's 5-Minute Fridays. So our action step, your assignment, if you will, for the weekend is, Ryan, do you want to give it? You're always the assignment giver. You give the assignment.
Yeah, I think to find that accountability, if it's a personal, I would encourage if you are a guy that's struggling with pornography or struggling with something, find another guy that you can talk to, that you can bring this to light, that can walk you through it. Or as a couple, maybe that's a couple's life group that can speak life into your relationship. Yeah. So that's our assignment this weekend, to find that accountability, find those people that can just speak into your marriage.
So good. Thank you for joining us, Debbie. Thank you so very much. It's been such a fun couple of weeks, and thank you to our listeners for joining us today on the Celebrate Marriage Cast. If you'd like further help or resources for your marriage, please check out celebrate.church/marriage. If you don't have a church home, we'd love to see you this weekend. Celebrate.church. You can find our address and our service times. We would love to meet you as well, and have a great weekend.